Good evening, my name is Rosvinti and my metric number is 85565. Today, I'll be presenting the introductions of dress codes. Basically, dress codes are human required attire to an event, work, fashion occasion related, educational institutions, funerals, and many more. We all aware that for decades, dress codes have been embedded in human life and evolved over time. Therefore, according to Ford 2022, dress codes have aged along with the clothing itself. He also states that clothing has served as a status symbol for ages, a weapon in social justice movements, and a means of political control through dress codes. For examples, in Tudor England, puff-up trousers, known as trunk-hose, might be seen as a threat to public order, while silk, velvet, and fur were only worn by the nobility. It is undeniably that dress codes can define on what we wear, when we wear it, and what our clothes symbolizes. Bowman and Hooper, 1991, also opinionated that dress is undoubtedly an important aspect of one's identity and role defining. However, Carey has a different opinions on the literal meaning of dress codes. She opinionated that dress code is commonly enforced by school districts and employers to encourage learning, safety, and image. The enforcement of dress codes in schools was happened in the 1990s when the school administrations began to enforce dress codes, school uniform, and uniform-like dress codes in response to rising student discipline issues, including gang violence and an increase in more indecent attire. Meanwhile, in Thailand universities, uniforms are mandatory dress codes policy, as uniforms are to represent the concept of courtesy, respect, unity, and the uniqueness in Thai society. Uniforms also to represent a two-tiered interactions between teachers and students, which is meant to indicate the teacher's supremacy and students' inferiority.
My name is Nur Aziati binti Zakaria. My metric number is 85241. I will be presenting theoretical framework for dress code issue. Dress code is often mistaken for uniform policy, whereby uniform policy is much restricted compared to dress code. Hamilton 2009 stated, dress code typically promote modesty while preventing anti-social fashion statements. According to Wendell 2002, dress codes specify what must not be worn, uniform policies specify what must be worn. Dress code often causing overwhelming complexity, however it portrays a good model through one's appearance. According to Ford 2022, dress code demands or restricts certain item of clothing because it suggests something about its social significance. According to Reuben May's study, as cited in Martin and Brook 2020, dress codes are allowed as long as they discriminate only on the basis of clothes and not on the basis of race, color, religion, or national origin. According to Asajo 2013, the findings demonstrate that the students' perspective of the dress code was influenced by their family as well as the school background, the school environment. Overall, the dress code is an expression of practical decency and is utilized to assess your intellectual background.
Wearing a school uniform is one of the obligatory laws and regulations for Malaysian elementary and secondary students. The primary aim is to instill discipline in students. In Malaysia, students are expected to wear school uniforms during the school day, while extra regulations may differ slightly between schools, according to Hassan in 2020. According to Wu in 2023, Malaysia has a national school uniform legislation, but little study has been undertaken to assess its benefits and drawbacks. The author also implies that while there are minor differences between schools in different states, all students in Malaysia are required to wear the same school uniform. As an illustration to that, male and female students at the government primary school wore dark blue bottoms and white shirts. Male students wore white shirts and green trousers to government secondary school, while female students wore white tops with a light blue bottom. And as for private primary and secondary schools, they have their own uniforms that are specific to their own schools. Over the years, there are also some discussions about whether the fabric of Malaysian school uniforms is appropriate for the Malaysian climate. Wearing casual clothes to school would be ideal, but it has been suggested that it would harm students' self-esteem because some of them would wear higher quality branded clothes, while those who are not privileged could not afford to wear the same kind of brand. According to law in 2004, the cheaper the expenses of the uniforms are, the lower the quality will be, and it will be less durable and comfortable it is for the child who must wear it for at least 5 hours per day in school. The writer also implies that the shoe that the students wear in school starts around the price of 10 ringgit, depending on the quality and durability that most parents prefer. There are, of course, upper, middle, and upper income parents who appreciate branded items, according to law in 2004. Of course, the government has loosened a bit on the rules about the school uniforms in Malaysia, and according to the Straits Times in 2023, during the current hot weather, students and teachers can attend classes in suitable wear and sports apparel at all Malaysian Educational Ministry or MOE schools and institutions.
Hi, so I will be talking about the current issues number 2, which is university student dress code. The appropriate attire for college students has long been a contentious topic among the different parties involved. Institutions design dress code regulations to create a positive learning atmosphere, so universities are now allowed to select their own dress codes. College students are somewhat matured enough to realize the seriousness of the situations, therefore it was crucial to learn how they felt about various dress code related concerns to comprehend their relevance. Then the primary research finding demonstrate that most students think that wearing uniforms instill discipline among them, reduces the likelihood of discrimination among students from different socio-economic spheres of society, and most importantly, shapes their personalities to fit the corporate world. The students also felt strongly that it is incredibly dull to wear the same uniform repeatedly. Meanwhile, um, in it, it is clothing regulation to enhance students' comfort and creativity via self-expressions. So he think that so we think that students should be able to express themselves via their unique style if it is modest and acceptable for a learning environment. Thank you.
The third issue is dress code at workplace. According to Masonev, establishing the ideal organizational culture of the company through working clothing is crucial. Every workplace have different codes of conduct. Some provide uniforms, some require their employees to always wear formal clothing, and some employers allow their employees to wear casual and relaxed clothing. As and both the wearer and the person dealing with the wearer, personal style have different significant psychological effects. While a point of contact between organizations and their client in the hospitality sector, frontline staff is frequently regarded as an aspect of service differentiation.
The current issue that is happening now is the issue on uniform of nurses in Malaysia, tie and show their body shape by an opposition lawmaker from the Islamic Parti Islam se-Malaysia PAS. Several medical groups have defended the nurses' attire in the nation. Ministry of Health Malaysia state that employees of the Ministry of Health are required to dress professionally and in accordance with the rules currently in effect. They must also wear the provided uniforms when performing official duties, unless they receive periodic instructions to the contrary and name badge. The Ministry of Health forbids anyone from doing official responsibilities while wearing anything outlandish, ill-fitting, or eye-catching.
Hello, my name is Nurul Ali Afifa binti Tadris and my matrix number is 85317, and I will be explaining about the data analysis for section A, which consists of 5 questions, and one more question, which is question 8 from section B. So first, let's take a look at section A, question 1. So according to the data from the pie chart, majority of the respondents agreed with the statement that dress code is a part of learning process, which therefore suggests that majority of them are familiar with the concept of dress code and how it is a part of learning process. Meanwhile, one individual who belongs to the minority who have chosen to disagree with this statement. This might be because they are not aware of the fact that dress code is a part of learning process. And last but not least, for another 5 individuals who have chosen not sure as their response to this statement, this might be because they have the vague idea of what dress code and learning process as 2 separate matters, but they do not see how the 2 are related to each other. So, for the second question of section A, referring to the data from the pie chart, since none of the participants have chosen disagree or strongly disagree, it can be concluded that most of the participants agree and support the idea of practicing dress code can be one of a way of building a good character. For the unsure responses, this might have to do with them not seeing what is there to relate between practicing dress code and how it will be one of many ways of building a good character. For the third question of this section, none of the respondents have chosen disagree or strongly disagree as their response, which can be concluded that overall response to this statement is positive, since most of them accept and support that dress code should be taught since childhood. So the thing about dress code is that it is not something that comes off as a common sense and therefore should be taught, especially since childhood or at an early age. This is because dress code is something that we apply on our daily basis, and everyone is wearing something all the time, and it is a consensus that being naked is inappropriate. Furthermore, dressing accordingly to TPO, which stands for time, place, and occasion, represents that dress code should not be taken lightly and therefore should be taught. For the fourth question of this section, as per the result, most of the respondents have chosen to disagree with this statement. This is because most of them are aware of the fact that dress code is indeed important and necessary to be practiced in the society. As for the respondents who have shown agreement to this statement, it could be due to 2 possible reasons. For the first one is that they are most likely misunderstanding the meaning of this statement, since all the previous statements have been positive, while this one is narrated in a negative manner, thus resulting in them opting for agree and strongly agree as positive responses too. For the second possible reason is that they might actually do agree that dress code is indeed neither important nor necessary to be practiced in society due to their own personal reasons or opinions. For the last question of this section, it revolves around how someone dresses up reflects on their personality. The data above suggests that most of the respondents accept and agree that how someone dresses up reflects on their personality. In fact, your dressing sense reflects on your personality, character, mood, style, and who you are as an individual. Regardless of being male or female, your fashion choices will definitely affect your self-image. For an instance, people who wear gaudy clothes and loud makeup are generally extroverts and love partying. As for the responses who disagree with the statement, this might be due to them not caring of how dressing reflects on their personality. This could also be because they believe what they wear have nothing to do with who they are as an individual. Meanwhile, the unsure responses suggest that they might not know if there is any relationship between how someone dresses up with how it will reflect on a personality of an individual.
From 30 responses, there are 19 respondents equal to 63.3% chose agree as their option. There are 8 respondents equal to 28.7% who responded with strongly agree, and 3 respondents equal to 10% chose not sure as their answer. Meanwhile, none out of 30 respondents chose disagree and strongly disagree as their response. According to the pie chart, it has shown that most of the respondents agree that the government needs to review dress code in school and educational institutions. This is because some students in the university does not really mind what are they wearing in the class. It's followed by second large part, which is strongly agree, and then not sure as third option. Why do government need to review dress in schools and educational institutions? According to the pie chart above, 17 respondents equal to 56.7% chose agree, and 7 respondents equal to 23.3% goes for strongly agree. As many as 5 respondents chose not sure, and 1 person equal to 3.3% chose disagree. Respondents chose agree as the highest percentage. This is because by implementing dress code, it can ensure public safety and security. The one response chose disagree probably because some people may feel that dress codes are unnecessary and the government should focus on more pressing issues. According to data collected about the government need to review dress code in clinic, hospital and health institutions, there are 18 respondents equal to 60% chose agree, and 7 respondents equal to 23.3% chose strongly agree. Meanwhile, 7 respondents equal to 16.7% chose not sure. For disagree and strongly disagree, there are 0 respondents. The agree option has the largest responses because some people think that dress code in health institution can create a sense of confidence and trust in the healthcare system. While some respondents chose not sure as the option, it is because some people may question the effectiveness of dress code in improving healthcare outcome and preventing the spread of choice. According to the pie chart above, there are 19 respondents equal to 63.3% chose agree, 6 respondents equal to 20% chose not sure. Meanwhile, there are 0 respondents chose disagree and strongly disagree, and 5 other respondents equal to 16.7% chose strongly agree. One of the reasons why does people agree government need to review dress code in counter service department is to maintain a professional and consistent image for the departments. Meanwhile, some individuals chose not sure because they may not argue that the attire of the counter service employees does not directly impact the quality of service that is provided. According to the data that has been answered by 30 respondents, There are 19 respondents, equal to 63.3%, has chosen strongly agree. 11 respondents, equal to 36.7%, has chosen agree. Meanwhile, 0 responses for not sure, disagree, and strongly disagree. These respondents might have chosen strongly agree because when the dress code applies to both men and women, it can help to avoid any potential of discrimination or bias based on the appearance. Also, by having a dress code to all gender, convinced that everyone has the same standards and any expectation when it's come to the attire. There are 10 respondents, equal to 33.3%, chose agree and disagree. Instead of that, there are 7 respondents, equal to 23.3%, chose strongly disagree. Meanwhile, 2 respondents, equal to 6.7%, chose strongly agree and 1 respondent chose not sure. Some individuals may choose agree to what dress code is practiced in school but only applies to students because dress codes among students can make them feel equal and prevent social or economic disparities. However, some people may disagree towards the statement because it restricts students' freedom of expression and individuality. They believe students have right to express themselves through their clothing choice.
Hello, it is me again, Nurul Ali Afifah binti Tadris with matrix number 85317, and I will be explaining about the last question for section B, which is question 8. So if we refer to the pie chart above, from the gap alone, the data have shown that most of the respondents disagree and did not accept the statement, which is practicing dress code is troublesome and not beneficial. This could be because most of the respondents know that there are good reasons behind why dress code should be practiced, therefore proves that it is beneficial. For example, in workplace, practicing dress code helps to minimize distractions and promote focus on work-related tasks, leading to increased productivity. This also includes that it is not troublesome to practice dress code since it is beneficial. For the minor responses that have chosen agree as their response, it might have to do with their own personal reasons or opinions, such as they believe that for girls, having cleavage and tights band as part of dress code teaches girls that their bodies are objects and that they are distractions. For the not sure response, it could be because they do not have any opinions or thoughts on why practicing dress code would be or would not be troublesome and not beneficial.
Today I will talk about the conclusion of dress code issues. In conclusion, dress code is applied to all sections in any sector in Malaysia and not just applied to UNIMA student only. Dress code is important for us to wear a dress properly based on the occasion and the place that require a certain attire. Several questionnaires above shows that majority of respondents have agreed that dress code can be implied in any sector. This issue shows that dress code is important because it portrays our own image and people's impression about us. To be honest, people can choose any kind of attire they desire to wear, but due to enforcement of dress code, they have to imply the required dress code at several places like government office, school, university, and private office or company. Dress code policy can portray a good impression and positive image towards others based on the attire that you are wear. Dress code teach us on how to attire properly and it makes us confidently to do something perfectly. Without dress code, people might not dress properly and take for granted of the freedom to dress indecently. Therefore, dress code is important policy that people should be aware of and apply in every day.